What's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time?
My name is Jeff.
Oh my God!
Hawk Tuah. It really needs no introduction. Unless you've been cryogenically frozen until about right now, you've seen the Hawk Tuah meme.
You gotta give him that Hawk Tuah and spit on that thing, you get me?
I'm still not really sure why this meme got so popular so fast. I mean, yeah, haha, le funny sex reference. But still, it's insane just how quickly this meme was absolutely everywhere. And because of that, it kind of speedran the meme life cycle and became very stale very quickly. I mean, like within 2 weeks, you had articles like this: 30 funniest Hawk Tuah memes that'll make you laugh so hard, you spit on that thing. That might be the worst headline I have ever read. The internet never ceases to amaze with its ability to turn a street interview into the funniest, but also the worst possible thing that could happen to humanity. Who the hell wrote this? Worst possible thing that could happen to humanity. It's not war, plagues, or famine. It's an inappropriate joke. That's the worst that could happen to us. A mix of a southern drawl, playful demeanor, and the fact that she's just pretty hot, alright pal, calm down, have made her an instant meme star. We've rounded up the best Hawk Tuah memes in our timeline, so you can just sit back and laugh like she's spitting on that thing. Dude, shut up. Who wrote this? You know, I would say this is a boomer moment, but let's be real here. This is the work of a millennial. Are any of the memes funny, at least? No, 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 not really. Nope, not that funny. Nope, nope. This one just says, her when you subscribe to Matt Numerics. I mean, this has to be the worst one of them all. I mean, this one's terrible, 0 out of 10. No, not really. No, not really. Seinfeld, not that funny though. No. This one's actually a Breaking Bad reference, because if you didn't know, Marilyn Monroe actually got the idea to sing Happy Birthday to JFK from that one episode of Breaking Bad. No, no, no. We have a Ryan Gosling meme. I do like a good Ryan Gosling meme. We'll give it a 4 out of 10. No. Nope. This is such a Reddit meme. Goodness. This is absolutely the worst one out of all of them, bar none. Nice little shout out to the GOAT, Nancy Reagan. Still not funny, and no, also not funny. And that is the end of all the memes. Well, it looks like unfortunately none of these memes were funny enough to make me laugh so hard that I spit on that thing. Or that she spits on that thing. I don't know, the article was a little bit confused as to who's doing the spitting. Now, when the meme went viral, the question on everyone's mind was, who is this alpaca-esque young lady? And for the first little bit, no one really knew. The speculation was rampant. People were saying she's a preschool teacher or a bartender, or that her dad was a preacher, but none of that was true. And the rumor that she was a preschool teacher actually came from a satire account on Facebook that claimed she was fired from Epstein Day School, so you know, that one was pretty obvious. But after a while, people did figure out who she was, and as I'm sure you all know by now, her name is Hayley Welsh. I think the first time I saw anything about her appearing in public after the video went viral was when she was at a Zach Bryan concert. I don't really know that much about Zach Bryan other than he's a country singer. But to my knowledge, he's never sang about a young cowboy killing a man in El Paso for the love of a Mexican maiden, so I assume he's mid. But something I didn't know until I started working on this video was that before becoming famous, Hayley Welsh worked at a spring factory.
Oh my god, 2 a.m. getting up for work?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what were you doing for your job?
Well, I have to sit up and get ready for about 30 minutes, and then I'll just go on and go get me something to eat for breakfast, and then I'll go into work. But I worked in a spring factory. I'm not a school teacher.
That was my next question.
Now, when I heard that, I was like, hold on. A spring factory? If you gave me 1,000 tries, I would not have guessed that that was her job. Like, dude, tell me that doesn't sound like a fake job. Like, who have you ever heard of that works at a spring factory? I mean, of course, spring factories must exist. Springs come from somewhere, right? It's just that the thought of where springs come from has, like, literally never crossed my mind. Like, a spring factory just sounds like something from The Simpsons, you know? All of that aside, when a meme becomes oversaturated, people start to hate it. And people definitely started to hate hearing about the Hawk Tuah girl, which is understandable, you know, people get tired of all these influencers being shoved down their throats all the time. But credit to Haley, and this is where I'm gonna start Reddit white knighting for my queen, but she actually seemed to handle her sudden virality very well, all things considered. She even used her newfound fame to start a charity to raise money for animal shelters. Now that's wholesome 100. I think a lot of the hate she got was unwarranted. I mean, I get obviously why people got tired of hearing about her, but I don't think it's right to hate her for that. You can't really blame her for capitalizing on becoming an overnight sensation because, let's be real, most of the people hating on her for it would have done the exact same thing. And refreshingly, unlike most influencers, she actually seems like a normal person and not a complete sociopath. And then of course, most recently, she announced that she will be starting a podcast. Yes! Yes! Oh, I was so happy to hear that because there aren't enough podcasts, guys. There just aren't, okay? This is a serious issue that doesn't get talked about enough. We need more podcasts because we just don't have enough of them. Now, the internet's reaction to this was more or less what you'd expect. You know, every slop channel had to make their Hawk Tuah situation is crazy video. The fact that it was being released under Better Media, which is a part of Better, which is a gambling company co-founded by Jake Paul.
It's every day, bro, with the Disney Channel flow.
Definitely didn't help the public sentiment towards her. But despite that, on September 10th, 2024, the first episode of Talk Tuah was released. Would have been funnier if it was on the 11th, but hey, we can't have everything now, can we? She was joined by her first guest, comedian Whitney Cummings.
Give it up for my good friend and yours, Whitney Cummings!
Boom! Yeah. There's a documentary I need you to watch immediately.
I'll be honest, that might have been a bit of a liberal use of the word comedian. Now, the podcast is alright, definitely isn't the worst podcast I've ever listened to. My favorite parts were when she talked about how immediately after she got famous, she tried to hijack a plane.
So you had never flown before you went viral?
No, and everything in my damn, like, carry-on.
She brought a knife.
Actually, it was 2 knives, and they got confiscated.
You brought knives to the airport.
Yeah.
You got a little girl going out here somewhere she's never been, unarmed. You've lost your fucking mind.
You brought weapons into TSA in 2024.
He's like, ma'am, what's this? And I was like, oh, you can keep it.
Do you, okay, I know you don't care that much about history, but do you know about 9/11?
Yeah.
And how she wants to storm the Capitol over taxes.
Who the fuck do I beat up on about taxes?
Well,
I'm sick of this
if
shit.
there's a next round of January 6th, I feel like you'd fit right in storming the Capitol. I feel like you just take that pillow, wear it as a hat, and you just go in and let them know.
I'm sick of you, and I'm sick of your bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like how you think.
Hawk Tuah is based. She even has a guy called Jamie on set, something Joe Rogan would blatantly steal 11 years earlier. I'm not really sure if this guy's like the producer or like a manager of sorts, but for some reason, unlike Rogan's Jamie, they just let their Jamie talk whenever he wants.
And they let me read the local news, which local news is always insane, right? It's always like, is lead poisoning your children? Find out after the break.
Was it something with lettuce a few weeks ago I was saying?
Like
the dirty ass lettuce, yeah. Everybody's getting sick from it. And I was like, what the fuck? Lettuce,
totally.
Out of all things.
But they're just trying to keep you watching, so they're just like as sensational and insane as possible, and all the men are in drag, the women are in blackface.
That's what Big Sugar wants you to think, that lettuce is bad for you.
Big Sugar?
Yeah, it's a whole ploy by Big Sugar.
Big lettuce sugar.
Big lettuce is fucking taking a massive hit.
Shut up, Jamie! No one cares! No one's here for you, okay? We're here for Hawk Tuah, not some from LA. Don't ever interrupt Miss Tuah again. You do not speak unless spoken to. Now, as you may well know, Talk Tuah has been one of the most influential podcasts of all time. If you look in the comments of the video, you can see what a truly profound effect this podcast has had on people's lives. Currently fighting on the front lines in Ukraine, and everyone has called a truce to watch episode 1 of Talk Tuah. Amen. Missed my child's birth for this. Talk Tuah. I can relate. I'm a Boston Massacre survivor and a War of 1812 veteran. I've been fighting PTSD and dysentery for 200 years now, and I can say with my full heart that Talk Tuah is my favorite podcast. It is great for calming my nerves and helping me shit at night. I was a miserable alcoholic until I discovered the Talk Tuah podcast. My wife left me and took everything, but after watching this podcast, I opened up a $1 trillion business. Thank you. My clothes are off right now. Just skip my funeral for the first episode of the Talk Tuah show. Talk Tuah. Teacher, English or Spanish? Me and Bloods, still as stones. Sussy queso. Hawk Tuah. Those who know, skull emoji, like for part 2. I like that. Now see, this is where the Hawk Tuah meme became good, because before, when people were actually using it to make blowjob jokes, it was pretty mid. But now that it has become a cultural phenomenon, and Zoomers have gotten their dirty little hands on it and turned it into an ironic joke, it's funny. And thanks to people ironically pretending to love Talk Tuah, it has actually managed to become one of the most listened to podcasts in the world. Now, how long will that last? Yeah, I don't really know. That remains to be seen. But considering her lineup of guests, I think Talk Tuah has a bright future ahead of it. I personally really like the episode with Max Verstappen, and I'm also really looking forward to the upcoming episode with Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar. I already know that one's gonna be fire, or should I say, ceasefire. But she has also had on more traditional podcast guests, with the likes of Bobby Lee, for instance.
Haley, when the hell did you have Bobby Lee on the podcast?
What?
This is funny. Hold on.
Somebody text you that?
It's not. Who is it?
That's Kim Jong-un.
Hey, it was far away in my...
What's he doing in my podcast room without me in it? Who does... Is that Photoshop? Who does this editing? Yes, it's photo... I don't know. Did you have him on your podcast? No, I don't think. Do you know who that is?
I cannot believe I just said that.
How is she getting all these guests? My face says it on the picture.
Do you even know who I am?
I know about you. I don't know who he is. Who is that? What does he do?
He's... Honestly, I don't know. I just seen him with Trump before. That's all I know about him.
He's the leader of North Korea.
Yeah.
But the star-studded lineup doesn't stop there. Rumor has it that she will also have on America's youngest politician, Jimmy Carter.
Do you know that Jimmy Carter is set to appear on the Talk Tuah with Haley Welch?
Can someone please tell me who Jimmy Carter is?
I'm Canadian, so no, just kidding. I'm Canadian and I know who he is.
Who is he?
Well, he's 99 years old. I mean, it's kind of fair.
Granny.
Hook him up with Granny.
Hook him up with Granny.
I think
If you were to take one guess,
His name sounds familiar.
If you were to take, if you were to take one guess who Jimmy Carter is, just like what he does, 99 years old, big deal.
Is he a porn star?
What?
I don't know. There's a little bit of everything out in the world. I don't know.
99-year-old porn star?
There's a thing for everything. I'm telling you.
Okay, take one more
Who
guess.
the hell is paying to watch a 90?
You'd be surprised.
Okay, you are right, actually.
You'd be
There
really
was no
surprised.
internet.
Let's see. What else does he do?
A big deal, 99 years old. Everyone in the world probably knows him.
I don't know. Is he like the oldest man alive? Am I right?
No?
Wait, do you know who he is?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was the president.
Oh. That's why I said
Wait, that's false.
Anna,
Canada doesn't have presidents.
He wasn't the president of Canada, but nice.
That's like false.
That was definitely a certified America moment. America's such a funny country because on the one hand, they're like the world's largest superpower. They are the biggest cultural exporter in the world, and it's not even close. Like, they completely dominate the world. But then half the population is like, oh my god, you went to Budapest? That sounds amazing. That's where Buddhism comes from, right? Now the question remains, will I be a regular listener of the Talk Tuah podcast? Even though it is the greatest podcast to ever exist, and it's not even close, I don't think so. I don't think I'm quite the right demographic. I think it's more of a girls' podcast. Or more likely, my IQ is just way too low to be able to appreciate the masterpiece that is the Talk Tuah podcast. But I do think there might be people who actually like the podcast for what it is and not just for the meme. I think Haley is very likable. Her down-to-earth southern charm is very endearing. Now, is that enough to turn into a social media career? I don't know. I suppose, once again, that remains to be seen. I will say her 15 minutes of fame has certainly lasted longer than I expected it to. So who knows, maybe she can pull it off. I mean, I certainly wish her all the best. And who knows, maybe I'll occasionally check in on Talk Tuah to see how it's going. I know for me personally, my biggest goal in making these YouTube videos is to become successful enough to be a guest on the Talk Tuah podcast, because really, I don't think there's any higher achievement in life than that. But let's hope she continues to handle her fame as well as she seems to have handled it up until this point. Because, you know, as I said, I really don't see any reason to hate her. I can definitely see why you might not care at all about what she does, because realistically, why should you? But I do hope that she manages to make the most out of her fame without letting it change her too much. But even if that does happen, at least we got to shitpost about her podcast for a little while, so, you know, a win's a win, hey? Although it is a shame that she's basically working for Jake Paul. I mean, I would not want anything to do with the Los Angeles influencer scene, because I think they're all just like insufferable sociopaths, or most of them at least. I mean, there are plenty of good content creators out there. Like Wendigoon co-owns a talent agency. Like, go work for them, you know? He could teach her to hawk Tuah and pray for that thing, you know? Only PG-13, family-friendly, no swearing jokes on my Christian Minecraft server. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this little exploration of the Hawk Tuah phenomenon. Comment down below what your favorite part was. My favorite part was when Hawk Tuah said, it's hawking time, and Hawk Tuah all over that thing.